Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Livewire TV, where each week I bring you guys an incredible guest that's going to really inspire your business growth, ignite your mindset, and take you to that next level. I'm Rohini, your host, and Livewire TV is a part of Livewire Media, where we do corporate videography and video marketing. Now, each week we go live, usually live, 7 p.m. GMT time, but this one is pre-recorded. However, if you have any questions still for our guest or even for myself, drop them in the comment section below and we'll be following up with you guys throughout the interview as well. So my guest for this week's episode is Farah. Farah, welcome to the show.
Hi, glad to be here. Thank you very much.
So Farah and I have known each other for a number of years now, and for me it's been amazing to see how she's grown. She's a mom herself, she's running her own business, she's a proper powerhouse.
Will be in April we'll start our 7th year of trade, so we've been doing pretty well for the last couple of years. Initially we started off with literally just myself, and over the years we've grown. We're now a small team of 5 people. We basically work with business owners, limited companies, sole traders, offering tax advice, accountancy services, payroll, bookkeeping, and just generally being there for our clients. That's one of the things that we really primarily pride ourselves on, is being able to kind of be that support for our clients.
Yeah. Now, a lot of accountants, they just do the basic bog standard bookkeeping, tax return. You're lucky to hear from them once a year. So what would you say makes you guys different?
We're different in the sense that we actively try to kind of communicate with our clients, keep on top of their records. One of the things that I found was, I've experienced that myself, where in previous employment we would only speak to the client once a year, twice a year. If a problem came up, then we'd speak to them. Otherwise we wouldn't hear from them. They wouldn't hear from us either. So when I set up this firm, it was with the idea in mind that I will be offering that personal touch to my clients. I will be available to them when they need, and we'll keep regular contact. And I still do with a lot of my clients right from the beginning, even though we've been growing. Whether it's myself or it's a member of the team, one of us is always there, and we still have that personal touch. So I'll speak to my clients and we'll end up having a chin wag for about half an hour, 45 minutes, just catching up. How's life, how's family, how's business? And I do take a lot of interest in my clients' business to know how it's going, where they're struggling, if there's any other support that I can offer, whether it might not be something that I can do myself, but I like to try and connect my clients. So if there's one client that can provide a service that another needs, I'll put them both in touch, kind of thing. So I like kind of being the middle person and making things work.
Amazing, amazing. So that's the excellent customer service perspective. But let's be honest, that's not going to help a business owner to increase their cash flow and save more time, is it?
No. That's just gonna make you have confidence with who you're working with and be able to trust them. Then in terms of and that's one of the key things that you need to have with your accountant, being able to trust them. We basically see everything down to the nitty-gritty. You can't hide anything from us, so that is so key to have
that trust and that positive relationship.
Yeah.
What would you say would be your number one tips for a business that does want to improve their cash flow?
To actually know what's going on in your business. So there's a lot of businesses, predominantly with the small business owners rather than the larger ones, but they end up, when they're starting out quite small, they're in good control of what's going on. They know what's happening. But then as they start growing, other things get on top of them and they'll start to lose track on their finances and managing their books and records. One of the key things is you need to know where your cash is going, where it's being spent. So having a good accountant, getting some software in or some sort of system in place that you're monitoring how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, especially as businesses grow. And when you're trading with other businesses, you'll have terms of credit. So if you're not on top of your debts, you'll end up falling behind. You'll have generally it's 30 to 90 days credit. But when people start falling behind with their cash flow, it will extend out. If you're not keeping on top of your books and records, you'll end up with debts of 6 months to a year overdue. You haven't chased them. And when you actually realize how much you're owed, that is having an impact on your cash flow.
So how can people then improve their cash flow to avoid being in that negative state?
Primarily software. And
Yeah.
then as they're growing, have somebody responsible for that part. A lot of people think that they need to manage their business themselves. They won't look at taking on a team or a specific accounts person. Now, we're external accountants, so we wouldn't be able to monitor somebody's day-to-day bookkeeping. But if there was somebody in-house who was monitoring that maybe on a weekly basis, the amount that they would take as a salary or an income would probably be a lot less in what they would save the firm by not having that person there. And that's not what a lot of people and business owners would think. They would just see that, oh, it's an additional salary, it's an additional cost to pay. But when you look at the cost benefit, the benefit of having a person who is managing all of that for you significantly outweighs the cost of them.
That is a really, really great hack. Because a lot of businesses, they tend to, do you feel like they look at things like this as like a cost as opposed to an investment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the other things of changing your mindset. When you're running a business, it's not that you're spending money and it's a cost and it's out of your pocket. You're actually investing in your business. You're investing in growing your business, to grow your product line or your service line, to invest in your staff when you're training them up or you send them out on training courses. That's an investment in them because they will be bringing that return back to you. Whereas there's a lot of business owners with the mindset that, oh, we're just paying out and it's a cost, it's a loss. Technically not really, because they will be bringing in that better return. That investment will help you provide a better service to your customers, who will then pay you extra for that better service, rather than going down to the cheap job logs down the road kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It far outweighs the, it's like an investment that just makes sense, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that you've helped so many businesses to scale up their business, and you've also scaled up your business as well.
Yeah.
What would be your kind of accounting hacks to help people to scale up their business?
That's a bit of a tough one. I've kind of personally, my own experience was to just go with the flow almost. That doesn't suit everybody, obviously. But one of the things that I found was to steady the growth. So what a lot of businesses try to do is just hit those large targets straight away, and their focus has just been that big target right up at the top, and nothing can try and get in their way. And while they're doing that, there's actually a lot of things that they miss out, they struggle with. They don't have the right team behind them, they haven't got the right setup to be able to get there yet. But if you pace yourself and you look at stepping stones to that top target, it's a bit easier. And you actually then, mindset wise, you would reward yourself for getting to those small milestones while you're working on getting to that big target. Whereas if you're just so focused on the big end goal, and you may not then take on the smaller steps, that you should actually congratulate yourselves on that achievement. But instead you're just so strongly focused on getting there. By not getting there within that time frame that you might have set for yourself, you then end up punishing yourself. You'll struggle. It makes it harder. So having that calm, comfortable mindset that it's a journey and to enjoy it while you're on that journey, that's
Yeah.
one of the things that I've done myself. I think if I tried to kind of get to where we are now 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I still do.
You find that when people do just go for those bigger goals and not focus on the little steps that it takes to get to the big goals, like it can overwhelm them.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can be quite overwhelming, especially it then depends on what type of organization you've got. So if you're a small team, your team might have specific roles, and when you try to expand exponentially, your team may not be equipped to deal with that influx of income or client queries or the additional work. If they then feel overwhelmed, overworked, your team might end up collapsing. They might leave, they might go somewhere else. So you need to also be prepared for that. While you're planning on growing your business, you need to make sure that your business is ready to grow with you.
Yeah, because a lot of businesses, they scale up too fast and then they crumble,
Yeah,
don't
they do. And a lot of the long-lasting businesses, they've grown over time. They're not the ones that have kind of experienced sudden growth, or if they have experienced sudden growth, with that sudden growth, there have been challenges and sometimes they've not coped with them well. There are businesses that do cope with them really, really well, and congratulations to them and absolute hats off. My personal experience is I would like to enjoy my work and enjoy my family life. And one of the things of being a business owner and my reason for going into self-employment was so then I have a better balance between my work life and my family life. And that's what a lot of people say when they start their own businesses. That's their reason. They want to be able to take the time off to go out whenever they want, see family, not have to work the weekends or overtime, etc. So if that's what your purpose of being self-employed was, don't forget that purpose when
Yeah.
you're growing your business.
Guys, I'd love to know, what is your purpose for being in business? Let me know in the comment section below. For me personally, it's about creating more freedom and more choices and enjoying the journey as well along with it. Because if you're not enjoying it, then quite frankly, what's the point? You just got
Exactly.
yourself another job. So I think it's safe to say that the tax laws right now, they're in a bit of a state of transition or change right now, isn't it? I mean, I know the fundamentals of tax law are still the same, but in your kind of expertise, because obviously it's your job to keep on top of these things, what's going to be different about tax law in the next few months that people need to be aware of?
There's a lot of changes coming in. There's gradual changes over the next couple of years. So over the last few years, a lot of things have become more, the right word I probably would use is more electronic, in the sense there's more regulation, there's more requirement of submissions regularly and style of submissions. So for example, going back about 2 to 3 years, VAT became, there was a new change of making tax digital, and that is what is sliding through the whole tax system. So it was first implemented with VAT, where your VAT returns needed to be submitted electronically with a digital signature behind it, essentially.
Yeah.
Which changed a lot of things where they were doing manual calculations, something on a spreadsheet or just writing down your notes, and it was all paper copy. They've now had to move electronically. And then the next step for that is now moving along to income tax, self-employed individuals, rental property owners. That's the next one to come in. So where everybody's been filing their tax returns by paper, or they've done a spreadsheet calculation and just put the figures in on HMRC system, or they've given it to their accountant and the accountants put the figures through a system. That's now changing, where people will now be required to have some sort of software recording.
When's that coming in?
When's that coming in? That comes into effect from April 2020. 3, I believe. It could be April 2024 off the top of my head. I cannot remember now. But it is coming in soon. But there's a pilot scheme where you're able to actually trial it out before it even comes into effect, which is what a lot of people are planning on doing, and we would be advising that with our clients as well, to try out the pilot before it comes into law, so then we can tidy up any of the differences or any problems that we might find in transitioning from old style bookkeeping to new style electronic that our clients might struggle with.
So lots of changes coming in then for people to be aware of.
There are a lot of changes coming in, and almost every element of tax will be changed moving forward.
Right. Do you think that makes things easier for you, the accountant?
No, probably not. In real terms, yes. But one of the things that we do find is changing our clients' mindsets. When you're so used to running things in old habits of paper style and spreadsheets, and with so many clients still bringing in their documents in a carrier bag or a black bag and saying, here you go, this is what I've done. All of that needs to change. In terms of the actual bookkeeping and the accounting, that will definitely be a lot easier for us because we're used to that sort of system. So it's not something new for us, but it's changing our clients and getting our clients to change with us and progressing into the new style and the new way of accounting, whereas a lot of clients and small business owners in particular probably wouldn't like to want to change because it's something new and it's unfamiliar. So one of the things that we will be doing with our clients is supporting them through that, so then it's not so scary. But where you're just left to your own devices to figure it out, it can be quite frightening and challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine. I want to take this conversation back to your mindset a little bit. So I know that you've scaled up your business to an incredible level, which is amazing. And a lot of people would aspire to be where you are, where you're turning over a certain amount. You've got employees working with you. And what were your challenges in getting to the point in your business where you are at right now?
What wasn't a challenge? Almost everything was. So when I started out, I had a conversation with somebody earlier this morning as well who said, when we were in employment at that point, we imagined that the life of self-employment was a lot easier. You can work for yourself, you can work whenever you want to work. But when you actually become self-employed, you are your whole business. So you've got to do your accounts, you've got to do your marketing, you've got to find your customers, you've got to clean your office space. You're doing all of that work, whereas when you were employed, you only had a specific role that you needed to do. So that, as a massive shift, was the first challenge to start off with, because I know accounts, I know how to do accounts, I know how to do payroll, I know how to do bookkeeping. I can give that advice out. How to run a business, how to market, go out networking, I didn't know any of that. So I was immediately thrown into a place of uncomfortness, to be honest, and then to find my feet in it. And then as the business grew, to find that sometimes my advice is questioned. I would have challenging clients, facing those clients, dealing with those clients, finding that especially right at the start when I was on my own, I didn't have an ear to bounce ideas off somebody to ask for advice. It literally was just me. I was responsible for my own actions, for getting my clients' work right. And it was quite scary, having that big responsibility on your head, to then take on new staff, to work with them, train them up, taking on their responsibility. That was the next challenge. But as each challenge, I got through each one, I would look back and say, right, I've done that bit. Now I know I can do the next one. And it wasn't always kind of, this is hard and this is even harder and this was even harder than the last one. It was, I've got through the last challenge. I can get through that one. I can also get through the next challenge. And actually reminding myself that each year on year or even month on month, I've got through that month and we're still going, we're still trading. We haven't collapsed yet. Touch wood, we won't. So just to actually, excuse me, to recognize how far we've come and to remind ourselves that it's, like I said earlier, it's a journey, and to try and enjoy that journey is not an end goal.
Yeah, it's all about mindset and how you talk to yourself as well.
It is, yeah.
I'm going to take the conversation down a little bit of a sensitive route, and I do this with love. How did you, or did you have to deal with cultural oppression? And I say this because I know a lot of men and women of all different backgrounds. It's something that they may have to deal with along in their journey at some point or another. Is that something that you've had to deal with yourself? And how did you deal with it?
In terms of, I've had a lot of support, family support, who've really encouraged me that yes, carry on, progress. When I've had a really rough day, I've had family who've looked after me when I've gone home. They haven't put that additional pressure on me. But I have faced clients who have questioned my ability. And I felt that at times that was questioned on gender rather than race or religion. So I felt that part a lot more, given that a lot of the accounting field is male orientated. I have struggled at times to make sure that I've put my foot down and stood my ground to say that I'm equal to my counterparts within this field. My knowledge is equal to them. My experience is equal to them. At times, I've surpassed them. And to even just remind myself that, yes, I can be equal to them in this field, and equal to my counterparts across the board, in the sense of in the cultural wise as well, where I can run my business and I can look after my home and my family. So I got married 4 years ago. My daughter's 3 years old. She's well and happy. She's well looked after. I've had the family support to look after her as well when I've come back to work after my maternity. And my clients have understood that as well. I've taken her to client meetings sometimes. I've taken her out to a couple of dinners. And I haven't shied away from that. I haven't hidden the fact that I'm a mum. I've cut short meetings where I've said, right, I now need to go home because I've got other things to do. And if that offends anybody, then that's their responsibility. I'm not going to be taking responsibility for that. So that's something that I've struggled with at times initially, but it's where I've got to now, where I'm comfortable with it. And to anybody else who finds that they're struggling with those same sort of challenges, I would say persevere with it and make sure that you stand your ground. You are your business, and your happiness is how your business will grow and how your family will grow. So if you're struggling with something, then definitely see what you could do to make that change, to get you back into somewhere where you're comfortable and happy.
I love your mindset, Farah. I really, really do.
Thank you.
Before we
It
wrap
has
up,
been hard. I will admit it has been hard, but it's been rewarding as well.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, have you got any last tips that you would like to share with the audience, either from a mindset point of view or from an accounting point of view?
I think the only thing that I will say is don't give up. Whatever it is, if it's your dream to be a business owner or see your business get to a certain stage, then just don't give up on it.
Amazing. I love it. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. And as always, if you have any questions for either myself or Farah, Or if you have any comments around the conversations that we've just had, drop them in the comment section below and we'll still be following up with you on the replay. And let me know, where in the world are you watching from? Because we do broadcast this show worldwide. So I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? So Farah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Your wisdom, your journey. I know that you've had an incredible journey as well. And it's amazing how many people have actually been on the same journey that you have. But anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Join us next Thursday, 7 p.m. GMT time, where we're going to be talking all about strategies. See you there.